TableStory, Ascendance. You, Gotho, you stand over the body of Jody. Looting him, you got 50 gold, a pouch of 50 gold, or about 45 if you want to, 50 if you want to collect them all on the floor. 3 1d4 potions, a mysterious potion, and I believe a 1d6 potion. He has his armor and items too if you want to take that, but
Gotho's not gonna like strip the armor off him. He just he takes the loose items like the potions and gold and stuff like that, and then whatever else like because you know how everyone has like torches and ropes and whatever.
Yeah, you get another bag. You get another 50-foot rope. Get a couple torches. Pretty much, I think you guys had the same pack, so pretty much familiar pack to you. You can double those items if you'd like.
Okay. So Gotho grabs all of those, and then he also stops and he's like looking at the shiny blue flower that Jody always wore.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna stop and he's gonna slowly pick that up, and he's trying to find some way to carefully carry that because he doesn't want it just like thrown in the loose bag with the others, and finding that he can't really store it safely without it potentially being crumpled by the other things. He's gonna take Jody's like long brown cloak that he was wearing, and even though Gotho can't wear the cloak because he's too large for it, he ties it into more of a sash that he's wearing around his neck and shoulder.
Okay.
And he pins the flower onto that.
Okay. Yeah, it takes you a couple minutes, and or what are you doing while you see him just kind of wrapping this around, stripping Jody's body, and putting the flower on his shoulder? Fora.
Fora passed out in the corner.
Oh, what are you doing while you? Out. No, I thought you're alive.
So she's okay. I thought that after he had set her down, I thought I heard that she passed out. Oh,
I mean, if you want to pass out, then you could be passed out. That's I didn't hear that if that was so.
Oh no. No, she's watching him, do all this, and does she see him come back and do the thing with the flower?
I mean, he's still standing there, just kind of. You can see it from here. He's just kind of wrapping it around his body and puts the flower on his shoulder. It's very visible. Like you can see in your grayish dark vision, you can see the flower standing out as like a shining piece of color. So.
Gotho, did you find Jody?
Gotho found what was Jody.
Oh no. And she just kind of like lays her head back, and you can kind of see these tears just rolling down her face, just on the side, and she looks up at the ceiling, and she asks, "How bad do I look?"
You will live, but only if we get out of this pit.
You think you can carry me?
Gotho can carry you.
Okay. Then let's get out of here.
As a last note, Gotho grabs Jody's longsword.
Okay.
And he's picking that up and then walking back over to the pit to carefully step across it again.
Yeah, just give me a quick athletics check to get across.
If I roll a nat 1, I'm out. I'm out of this campaign.
Please don't roll a fucking nat 1. Thank you. I don't want to kill 2 people in one night. Yeah, you easily just kind of a little bit with less grace this time, but you make it over. I'm standing now in front of Fora. You can move your tokens around freely, by the way. Yeah, the light will change depending on where you are.
So after Gotho steps across the pit, he walks over to Fora and he pulls out the now additional 50 feet of rope that he picked off of Jody and says, "Jody may yet help us escape." And he holds out the rope.
What do you want to do with this? Tie it to the other rope? How are we going to get up there?
Gotho's like at this point scanning around to figure out if there's some way that he could get up to the other rope to secure this one to it, using the same ledge that, granted, I failed the climb and fell down the ledge, but he's now looking back over there to see if like he could attempt to scale back up where he dropped down from.
Yeah, when you had checked, there weren't too many handhelds that you could have, or handholds that you could have made it up. They're about like 5 feet apart from each other, so like with a great jump, you could jump across to one and try and get up, but just climbing it otherwise would be pretty much impossible.
Okay. Gotho's also going to check where that broken bridge is, because you
Okay.
said there was like visibly water trickling down.
Yeah.
And he's just going to look down there to see how deep that goes, and also if there's any loose rocks or something. He wants to. Actually, I still have that illuminated rock, right? Gotho's going to take the illuminated rock and drop it down next to the broken bridge.
Okay. As you hold it in your hand, release it. You watch the light. You can see it go down for about 60 feet, and nothing. It's a small, narrow cavern down. It continues and continues and continues. From what you can see, until the rock just out of your sight.
And I don't hear a splash or a thunk or anything like that.
Nothing. It's like a small amount of water trickling off the right wall. But there's no splash. There's no sound. It just goes down.
Okay. Gotho can see across to where Jody just was.
Yep.
Back over here.
Yeah.
Gotho's peering in that direction to see if the cavern like continues on in a direction where we might be able to push forward into the cave and look for a different way up.
Yeah, you can see like a small, like where the room would open up into a bigger room. Do you want to like go over there and check, or are you just kind of looking from there? Because that's all you can see.
No,
from there.
Gotho's just looking for now.
Okay.
And then he's gonna look back up at the rope, and he looks at Four and says, "Our best chance is get back to the rope. Gotho can try to climb, but if Gotho cannot reach the rope, we have to move farther into cavern."
Okay, I understand.
Give me a survival check really quick.
Sure.
Is it possible for Fora to use Cure Wounds again? I don't remember if we... I think because she already used her 2 spells.
Yeah, you used your 2 spells, but since you're level 2, I think do you get access to 3 spells a day?
I don't
or...
think... No, it said... Let me double check, because I think it said 2.
Yeah, I'll
but
check
I
for
don't
you real
want
quick.
to be wrong, so I'm just going to double check real quick.
Yeah.
Cure Wounds.
No,
Cure Wounds is a spell, but isn't Light just a cantrip? So
Light is a cantrip, yeah. But
Light
she's
is a
used...
cantrip, but Cure Wounds is not.
You get access to 3 first level spells a day, but you would have to have a long rest to get that back.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does your Song of Rest count as a spell, or is it like
I am double checking. I think it might, it's a feature, but
Song of Rest is not a spell.
Song of Rest is not,
I'm just gonna look at it really quick.
It's not a spell, but it says you can use soothing music or an oration to help revitalize your wounded allies. I don't know if I can heal myself or if that counts.
Yeah, I'd say you can heal yourself with it.
You think I can heal myself?
Yeah.
Because I might want to do that then.
Up to you.
It says you or any friendly creatures who hear your performance, so it definitely affects you too.
Regain hit points at the end of the short rest. Okay. Spending 1 or more hit dice.
Oh, crap. I just remembered. All right. Hang on. This just got really awesome.
All these, like, amazing level 2 spells.
Yeah, I just remembered, like, all my level 2 stuff that I'm not taking advantage of. At this point, as, like, Gotho's examining the longsword, and he's, like, looking at the flower, and he's just sitting there kind of thinking about their journey so far, Fora notices that Gotho's hands are glowing white. And he doesn't seem to be aware of it.
Go through your hands.
Mm-hmm.
They're glowing. Why are they glowing? What's wrong with your hands?
Gotho kind of looks down at his hands for a second, and then he looks at her, and he just kind of shakes his head like, I don't know. But as Gotho, he looks at the ledge where the rope is, and he looks at his hands, and he says, Gotho, can climb. And at this point, I'm going to use my level 2 Step of the Wind skill to double my movement and climbing speed and double my jump distance. Spend a key point to do
All
that.
right. What are you doing with Far? Are you leaving her there or carrying her?
Yeah, he's leaving her there, and I'm
Okay.
going to attempt to climb this thing again using my doubled movement and jumping distance abilities.
Okay. Give me an athletics check with advantage. All right. Yeah. As you quickly you find the closest handhold and look up. It's about 5 feet away from you. You quickly just jump across. You see him you see him kind of like use the momentum of pushing up from the floor and the wall to just immediately reach up, and you stretch your arm out and you catch it. Do it again, another climbing up, catching on this handhold and that handhold. He looks just kind of like a monkey, just kind of leaping across the wall, getting up higher a little more and more. Are you trying to reach the rope, or are you just trying to hang on the wall?
Gotho's trying to reach the other rope.
Okay. The other rope?
Yeah,
the one dangling.
that is hanging from the wall, not the one he's carrying.
You just leap off from the wall, reaching up for a second. First hand misses, but the second one just grasps it, and you're now swinging above the cavern. Give me a strength check just to hold on to it. That was a save. Give me a check.
Wait, what?
That was a strength save.
Oh.
Give me a strength check. Yeah, you're fine. You almost fall for a moment, but you bring your second hand up and steel yourself holding onto the rope. What do you want to do?
Gotho is going to wrap his leg around the rope first, like scale the rope a couple of feet so that he can wrap his leg around it very tightly.
Yep.
So that even if he were to lose his grip, he's just going to be at least hanging by his leg for a second. And then tie Jody's length of rope in kind of a slip knot onto the end of this one and just like tie them together to double the length of it so that it can reach the ground.
Okay, yeah, it takes you a couple minutes to kind of find a working knot. You're sure that it works, but you're not that sure, as you've never really tied two ropes together. Seems fine.
Okay. Gotho's like gonna physically grab the other rope and like using just his arm strength, try to pull them apart to make sure that it's not gonna slip off super easily.
Okay, so you want to tighten it? Yeah, give me a quick strength check. See how tight you make the rope. It's perfect.
Okay.
I think that 12 was the first one, right? Yeah.
I clicked strength and then nothing happened. So
oh,
then
okay,
I clicked
so
it
there's
again.
a little lag. Yeah, no, you quickly pull them taut, and you can hear like the rope flexing as you pull it. One of them almost frays for a moment, but you quickly see that as a sign to stop, and you've secured the rope to it.
Okay. And with the rope now reaching to the ground, he's just gonna casually slide down to the ground.
Yeah. Down, you see the rope is dangling a little bit over the second cavern edge. Fora, you can see the rope going all the way up.
Gotho walks back over to her and says, "We can leave."
Okay. I'm gonna do a thing real quick here. Just give me a second, okay?
Okay, she's gonna use Song of Rest,
Okay.
and she's just gonna kind of lay there and sing softly.
All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, put your hands up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
And she can see Gotho kind of just stand there, like, look at her, like, what the fuck are you doing?
Actually, Gotho just like sits cross-legged and is like sitting directly in front of her, maintaining eye contact the entire time that she's singing.
Roll me a performance check. Just before you speak, really quick.
Me?
Yeah. You're in Gotho. You are enthralled. There is nothing more beautiful you've heard in your life.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Put your hands up. Do, 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 do. Oh, I feel so much better already.
Okay, so she's gonna roll.
Yeah. Roll me 2 1d6s.
2 1d6s. Let's go, baby.
That one's for you. The next one's for Gotho. All right. Gotho, you regain 2 hit points as the sound of calming music just washes over your ears. You're so enthralled, staring into her eyes as she sings this amazing song that you've never quite heard before. It must be from a far-off land.
Gotho, how do you feel? You feel any better?
Gotho, already feel fine.
Okay. Okay, good. I think maybe I can try to stand up. No, maybe. Not a good idea.
Really quick. Roll me a stealth check if you can, Fora.
Stealth check?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What do you guys want to do?
Gotho, do you think we can make it up there, or?
Gotho can make it. Gotho will bring Fora one way or the other.
Okay. All right. Well, let's try to get up there, I suppose, and if you can carry me.
You said that it was roughly 80 feet to the ground with this pit, and we just use 100 feet of rope. So I'm assuming there's like a good 15 to 20 feet of slack hanging at the end of the cavern, right? Gotho's gonna take the coil, or like the slack,
Okay.
and then gonna use his foot to pin it to the ground for a second and hold the rope taut, and then strike using Jody's longsword to just cut off the excess, like the extra 15 to 20 feet.
Okay. Yeah, add about 20 feet of rope to your inventory instead of 50 feet.
Okay. Gotho then takes the excess rope, and he's approaching Fora holding the rope like he's gonna tie her with something or do something.
Do you want me to take the rope? And he
doesn't answer. He's reaching past her now, like he's trying to tie it around her waist.
Okay. Do you let him tie around your waist?
Oh,
Yeah, that's fine.
okay. Watch it. Ow. Oh, just be gentle, okay?
He's not tying it super tight, but like he gets it on her snug, and then he's doing the same to himself.
Okay. Yeah. So you've successfully tied her. How much are you leaving between you two, in terms of excess rope?
Like 3 or 4 feet of slack between.
Okay. So you're fairly close. Okay. And you're just going to try and climb up the rope and try and get her out safely?
Yep.
Okay.
Gotho's going to look at Fora and say, "Do you want to climb, or do you want Gotho to carry you?"
Well, I don't think I am well enough to climb. I think both of my kneecaps are still broken, so if you could carry me...
Gotho's like already grabbing her before she finishes her sentence.
Mm-hmm.
If you could carry... Oh, okay, all right, here we go.
Fireman carry style.
All right. I need you to give me just a dexterity check to stay on the rope, but also to go at a speed where she wouldn't be are you carrying her on his shoulders or just letting her dangle?
No, he's like fireman carrying her, so she's draped over his shoulder.
Yep. Just give me a dexterity check to stay on the rope, but also go slow enough so that she doesn't fall off or get bumped by you going up too aggressively. Okay. Yeah, you one hand, kind of keeping your left arm kind of locked in this weird position. You manage to very slowly, very carefully, methodically go up, which is unusual for Gotho to be so precise and so alert and aware. As you just climb up, make it about 20 to 30 feet up. Just give me one more dexterity check. And he starts to move a little faster, getting a little bit more comfortable as he's climbing the rope. You pass through webs, some of them now draping over your head, as they've broken off from the other side. Climbing up, you crest over the edge, and you're back where you previously were on the camp. How do I put it? The campsite grounds. Sorry, outside of the cavern, against the rocks. What do you want to do?
As soon as they get up top, he's just going to very carefully put her down near the tree that he had looped the rope around when we first went down.
Okay.
Oh, it's so nice to be out of there. Oh, thank you, Gotho. Oof, God. Ow. Oh, my leg.
Gotho will be happy to not go in cavern again.
Agreed. Agreed.
He walks away from... Gotho walks away from Fora, and he actually moves over to the center of the bridge here.
Okay.
Where Jody had initially fallen.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to take Jody's longsword and kind of stab it into the ground near the middle of the bridge.
Okay. And you just bring it down, sinks easily into the ground. You can still see, you kind of put it right where one of his footsteps were before he trailed off over the edge, directly down the middle of the footstep.
And at this point, Gotho's kind of like looking down at his own hands again. And hitting level 2, he's feeling his ki power for the first time as a monk, and he's never used it before. And he's from the middle of the bridge now. He takes his club out, and he starts a form like a kung fu kata demonstration. And it almost looks like very violent ballet, but he's dancing around in the middle of the bridge, like doing some sort of a kung fu routine, kind of rolling. And then kicking at an invisible target, and then swinging the club behind him at something. But his movements are different now. It's like very refined and practiced, precise movements, as opposed to the lumbering caveman style of combat or movement that he would normally be associated with. And then Fora can see him just doing all this
give me a
without
performance
really paying attention to anything else. You better not make me roll performance for my physical dance.
Just roll me a performance check for how Fora perceives it.
Okay. Where's performance? Oh gosh.
It's not like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but you can clearly tell he's into it and it means something to him. It's not graceful, but he's got
That's so like
he's got the grace of
he really enjoys it.
he's got the grace of a martial fighter. And it very much, like he described, looks like a martial dance.
By Goliath standards, it's
By
pretty
Goliath
cool.
standards, I mean,
It's pretty
you're
freaking
bumbling
cool.
around pretty well.
Fora's just staring at him like, what in the world? And then she's like, oh, okay. Do what you need to do, I suppose.
He finishes up his little routine, and he's kind of balanced on one leg, like doing kind of a flamingo stance with one hand pointed forward with a palm up, and his other hand behind him holding his weapon. And even someone who's never been involved in any sort of martial training would recognize this as like some typical kung fu stance, which he adopts at the end of it, and he just kind of holds that for a minute. Then he picks up Jody's sword and walks back over to her and says, Gotho is changed.
Changed how?
Gotho does not know.
Well, I hope it's a change for the better, at least.
Gotho looks one more time at his splintered quarterstaff on the ground and just looks kind of upset. And then he's gonna retract the rope from the cavern, untie it from the boulder, and re-add that to his inventory as well.
Okay, yeah, it takes a couple minutes, but you've got a now 100 feet of rope, 120 foot, 180 foot in your inventory.
Gotho looks at Fora and says, "What now?"
That is a very good question. What all did you take from Jody?
When she says that, he just like starts emptying his pockets in front of her, like not dumping it on the ground, but he's just one at a time pulling out every single thing that he got from Jody and setting them all on the ground one at a time in front of her.
Okay.
Oh, so
So
everything.
he pulls out what is it? 3 potions, 1 larger potion, a pile of torches, his pouch of gold, and then after he puts all that stuff on the ground, he then points at the flower that he is now wearing, which she obviously recognizes.
Oh, his flower. Well, that was nice of you to at least take the flower as well. I'm sure he would have wanted one of us to take it, at least.
No one will ever hear Jody's story, so Gotho will make him part of his own.
Aww.
Shh,
Tearing up over here.
This is the most heartfelt moment. Shh, you're dead.
I'm sorry.
Shut up, dead guy.
I was such a third wheel.
Now we know why. Now we know why he killed himself. It was too awkward.
No, I know. It's so awkward with this music. My God. No. Will they or won't they? I don't know.
Can Fora walk? Because she's still pretty beat up.
You're fine. Yeah, the bones
she's only
were mended, but the wound is still there, and it's still gushing blood. Not at like an alarming rate, but you're able to walk with a small limp. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say your movement speed is halved.
Okay. She stands up, kind of sturdies herself on the tree, and she says, "Well, we still need to find Talon, and we still need to."
While she's mid-sentence, Gotho's like cutting her off, and he just points at the healing potions on the ground and says, "You can use those."
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't know we even had more of those. So she limps over, bends down, and
Gotho's careful to like put his foot in between her and the mystery potion, like the brownish colored one that he blinded Jody.
Yeah.
So he just like he puts his foot physically between her and that one. Like, no, you can't have this one.
she wasn't reaching for the. She wants the healing one. Is there a healing one?
Yeah, there is like all the healing ones, but just like before it was really clear which one she was going for. Just like as she was even beginning to reach that direction, he's just kind of forbidding her to touch that one, and puts his foot in the way.
All right. All right.
She reaches for the healing potion and just.
How many are you trying to drink here?
Just one.
Okay, just
three
one.
Small ones and a large one.
Yeah, there's 3 small ones and a large one. So let me know which one you want.
Well, actually, probably would just be better to drink a small one.
Okay. That's
for
1d4.
Now because she doesn't want to.
Yeah, roll a 1d4.
Let's just do a small one. D4, you said?
1d4.
Okay.
Okay, you regain 2 health as you just quickly pop the cork and guzzle it back. You can feel like your insides, they're tingling, almost like drinking like a carbonated drink would be. And the blood flow slows down to a small like trickle. Not really as present of a wound on your legs, but the ones on your shoulders and your torso still exist. They haven't closed up.
Okay, this is good. This is good enough. Let's start walking.
Okay.
Okay, where are you guys headed?
She wants to roll a perception.
Yep, go ahead, give me a perception.
See where the tracks or trail would be.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
Okay. Come on, roll 20. Here we go.
Yeah, it's been weird tonight. Yeah, you can see in front of you a large path that's kind of opened up. There's no more cavern. There's no worry about falling into the sides. It looks like in front of you is just a small clearing surrounded by some trees with rocks dotting the trail. You see further up is another large footprint that you were one like the one you were following.
A big footprint over here?
Yep. Okay. It's the grayish blot on the map.
Oh, look, Gotho. It's a footprint. Do you recognize it?
The troll. Gotho's gonna use his like survival tracking skills to verify that this is in fact a troll footprint, but he's already assuming that's what it is.
Yeah. You can't quite make it out, but you know it's a troll footprint. Just from seeing around the edges. It's not as detailed as the ones previously, so you have to look for a moment or two.
Yeah, when Gotho sees that, he looks at Fora and says, "Fighting a troll is hard enough with 3. Do we want to continue?"
No, I don't think we should go after the troll at all. I think we should try to find Talon instead. I mean, unless he went after the troll.
After troll attacked human camp, where else would they go?
I don't know.
Could she roll a survival check, maybe? See, like, if she, like, smells anything or gets a whiff of human?
Go ahead. You can't smell anything. The only thing you can smell is like cedar and the smell of the trees. But you can see kind of in front of you like a muffled a human footprint, and it's muffled because there are 1, there are 2, 3, 4, 5. It just seems like a large like passing area as it rounds the tree in front of you to your right and goes down the path off to the right past the footprint. Almost fresher, as if it was following the footprints. Looks like a large group of people passed by this way.
Okay.
You think men follow troll?
Well, maybe if it had something that belonged to them, but it really just depends on how many of them there were, or if any are still alive.
Something that belonged to them, like other men.
Mm-hmm.
If troll took one man, humans may go take him back.
Mm-hmm.
Men are vengeful.
They are very vengeful.
They will chase troll even if they cannot win.
This is very true. Maybe if we are very stealthy, we can sneak up on anyone that's not suspecting us.
Stealthy?
Yes. Like, when you hide in the bushes or when no one sees you.
You mean quiet?
I'm not sure if you really have been stealthy before, Gotho, but we can teach you.
Gotho can be quiet.
Yes.
Gotho's gonna attempt to like go stealth in the foliage, like right here.
Yeah.
But this is the first time he's ever made an attempt to not be seen, but he's trying to be stealthy.
Give me a stealth check. Yeah, you watch him like go into the bush and he moves like a couple branches, and then you see that he can still like, or he sees that you can still see him, so he like reaches up above him and with both hands and just like takes one large branch and snaps it off and just kind of puts it in front of him to cover his face in the bush. Can't see him.
See, there you go. I can't see you at all.
While Gotho is hidden there, he's now also applying mud to his body and going full Arnold Schwarzenegger from Commando, just like mud camouflaging himself all over.
You don't need to do all of that right now.
You can't see what he's doing.
You just hear like,
oh,
as he's like, you just hear like him scooping mud up, and then as the tree like not being held in his hands falls over the branch, and you just see Gotho looking down, smothering himself in mud. Covering himself, not realizing the tree branch has fallen over in front of him.
And now he's adding moss and leaves and like sticking it to the mud to make like an adhesive ghillie suit. he's crafting this sneak armor.
You know what? That looks good. That's a good thing to do.
After he finishes patting himself down with mud and moss and leaves and stuff, he just kind of goes prone, like perfectly flat on the ground, looking at her, and it's actually kind of hard to see him.
You have an advantage on stealth checks for the next half an hour. Solid Snake Gotho.
Gotho can be quiet.
Yes, apparently you really can. That's impressive.
Let's follow man. And
okay.
He points at the footprints that she had indicated.
Okay.
Those are going north, right?
They're going north, and then they branch off northeast. Yeah, around a small bend. You guys want to head over there?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. As you guys round the corner, round the corner with me, children. You're met with the sight of a cave opening an entrance. A small burning campfire with like a tree stump from a felled tree, a pot laying on front of it, or a pan laying on front of it. The campfire is burning. Doesn't seem to be anybody near it. But you notice, roll me a perception check to both of you. Okay. You, Fora, and you, Gotho, you both, judging by the stone of the cavern in front of you, you can tell where that leads. Probably down to the cavern below that you were just in. The same rock type, Looked like a rough shale and moss overgrowing it. You can tell.
Gotha looks at Fora, and she's never heard him use sarcasm before. But Gotha looks over and he says, "Gotha cannot wait to go back into cavern."
Cora is very confused by this because she has never detected sarcasm.
Roll an insight
And then
check.
a small... A what?
Yeah, roll an insight check while you're talking here.
She's just staring at him like,
I don't think he's being serious. He could be, though. Look at that face. It's stone cold. There's no emotion.
She's gonna go ahead and think that he was being sarcastic, but then again, she knows that he's never really been sarcastic before, so she just goes, "You know what? Me neither. But in order to prevent that, let's make sure to be extra sneaky." So she goes over here
Okay.
and just wants to like kind of crawl into the bushes and observe if anyone comes out of the cave.
Okay.
Gotho's like he's been following her, but this whole time he's never really broken out of stealth mode from that initial time.
Yeah, you're
like
still.
since
You're still
he's
going,
never
man.
he's never left his stealth mode. Like as soon as she said be quiet, so for the past 5 or 6 minutes while they've been walking, he's just like moving along the edge of the path.
Are you still prone?
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's not prone
Okay.
crawling, but he's like hunched over and walking near the tree line. And when she says that, he's moving up pretty close to the edge of the cave, unless she yells at him to stop. But he is staying hidden as he
Okay.
tries to get close.
Yeah, look at that. You're even under a bush and everything, man. You are there.
It's
Hey,
Gilly
She's pretty
Goth.
confident in
are you
it.
guys just waiting for anything to happen? Kind of type deal.
Gotho's moving to the entrance of the cave, trying to look inside and see
Okay.
if he can see blood, footprints, or hear movement, or smell anything.
Okay.
Just basically, can I observe anything from the front of the cave?
Yeah, give me a survival check.
Survival.
Survival. Yeah, you can see something similar to the large massive footprints that was over by the larger troll's footprint. It's all scuffled here. You can't really find a footprint, but you can tell that a large amount of people have moved through this opening recently.
So there's lots of smaller footprints as well.
It's just a big mess of dirt that's been upturned recently, with a couple of footprints trailing into that mess of dirt. And then from then on, it just hits rock, and you can't really tell about any footprints after that.
Gotho, he looks back at Fora, and he doesn't say anything out loud, but he holds up his left hand with his 4 fingers and his thumb, like, stretched out, so like the number 5 almost.
Yeah.
And then he takes his right hand, and he starts counting, and he points at his pinky, and then his ring finger, then his middle finger, his index finger, and then his thumb, and then he continues moving his finger in that motion several times, like he's counting on imaginary fingers.
Yes.
And then he points at the entrance of the cave.
It's certainly
Fora just gives him a thumbs up, even
Okay.
though she doesn't know what he's talking about.
it goes. So you can tell it's like about 30 to 40 people have passed.
Okay.
That's
Gotho's
just how many you count
going
on
to
your
just
fingers.
start moving into the cave,
Okay.
figuring if they're in there fighting the troll. It's better to get in there before that's all over with.
Okay. What are you doing for?
Fora she wants to see if there are any weapons or anything that anyone's left around the camp, or any signs of people being around this camp.
Okay, give me a perception check. I mean, the fire's lit, so you know somebody has to be here. But you can't really make out any other details other than that it definitely looks like this is occupied. But there's nobody around, so.
Gotho looks back for a moment from the entrance of the cave where he has now started moving, and when he sees that she's investigating the campfire, and that kind of prompts his mental process, and he thinks about it for a second, and now he's looking at the campfire to see, is this campfire unusually large and populated with large chunks of firewood, or is it more human-sized? Like basically, does it look like a troll started it, or does it look like a
it's
human
definitely
figured it?
human sized. It's about the size that you would have, back in the army. It's about the size you'd sit around, is what you would recall.
If she's close enough to hear him talking quietly, he's gonna whisper to her, Why would man start fire near a troll cave? Not smart.
Oh, maybe it's not the men. Maybe it's the troll.
Troll did not start that fire. Come. Men are in cave. Look at these. And he points at the footprints.
Yeah, you see them now that he's pointed it out. You see a couple leading in. Not as many as he's counted, but you definitely see the scuffle of where he's pointing at. It's just a lot of upturned dirt from many a foot passing by.
Men are in cave. We should hurry. And then without really waiting for her approval, he starts... Gotho's moving in. He's like still sneaking, but he's moving forward as quickly as he can safely do so.
Okay. What are you doing?
She's a little hesitant. She's like, I thought you didn't want to go back in the cavern.
Did she actually say that?
Yeah.
Then Gotho just kind of calls back over his shoulder. Gotho does what Gotho must.
He's like Batman. As you guys pass through the cave overhead, bringing you into top left on your guys' map, if you guys can see that. Just make sure you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Perfect. No, you can't see it.
No, I just have a black screen.
Zoom out all the way.
Yeah, zoom out all the way and go all the way to the top left. You guys are met with the familiar rocks and shale type of the interior of the cavern that you were just in moments ago. A small path lays out in front of you. No other details are visible. What are you gonna do?
Gotho's just gonna follow the path, then stopping to essentially use perception like every 5 or 10 feet as he proceeds until we find something that is not just a narrow path.
Yeah, give me a perception check. And you can just move your tokens forward freely at somewhat of like a staggered rate. You follow the footsteps down. Feel free to move your characters. The light goes with you guys. You find in front of you like a small wall that looks like it's been picked away. There's pickaxes on the ground. There's a wheelbarrow that seems to be dusted and aged. Or can you not move yours?
I just have a black screen. That's even
Still
with me zoomed all the way out.
All right, give me a sec. Bum, 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 bum. Roll 20 and the dynamic lighting is a little strange. Basic. Oh, okay, here you go. This is why. All right, let me know if that fixes for you there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, perfect.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, Flora's just...
Cool.
Yep.
Sorry to the to the
beautiful.
viewers. I have to keep her token selected, or you guys can't see what she sees. So that's my bad. We'll figure that out eventually. But you guys are met with a small shelf of where it looks like rocks have been pulled away. Sacks on the left of you as you pass by. Looks like splintered wood, and the footsteps just continue. They continue further into the cavern. They seem to get a little more spread out as you go along. To your right, rubble. It looks like there's a couple of skeletons underneath. Give me a perception check really quick, Gotho.
Another one. Mm-hmm. Here we go.
You can't very well tell the age of them, but they can't have been the people that you're currently tracking. It looks like there's small nibble marks on the skulls, and like a small hand with its fingers outstretched. Looks like it's missing a couple of digits. Again, small teeth marks just kind of pockmark all of the skeletons, but there's no fresh blood or anything. It looks like this is a cave-in that has happened a long time ago.
Okay. And you said there's little nibble marks on them, right?
Yeah.
Gotho looks at Fora and says, bite marks too small to be troll. Maybe goblins?
Ooh, I don't like goblins.
She just visibly shivers.
Gotho love goblins. And he pushes his right knuckles into his left palm, like kind of the tough guy knuckle crack kind of a motion. Says, Gotho love goblins. They're fun to hit. And Gotho does not have to feel bad about it after.
You guys follow the
Ford
path.
just goes, God, I am glad I am with you in here.
You guys follow the path upwards. You find a two-way split in the cavern. One seems to go off to your right. The other seems to go off to your left. What do you guys do?
Can Ford roll investigation to see if there are any footprints
Okay.
or I don't know if that's perception. Would it be perception?
It'd be investigation, yeah.
Investigation.
Wouldn't it be survival for tracking?
In
Is it-
here,
yeah,
it's
just-
in here. It's a lot harder to see them. So to actively, visibly look for them, you'd have to investigate. As where like survival would just be like a general survey of the land. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that you made it. God.
That's okay.
Yeah, you can see that there are a couple what looks like unturned stones and kind of chips in the stone as you go further and look further off to your right, as if like one or two people had kind of displaced the gravel and the shale that had come off the walls. Off to the left, though, in Gotha, you can see this very clearly. The tracks of mud seem to be very prevalent in this direction.
Gotha just points down at the mud prints and says, "Men went this way."
You're currently standing in a little bit of mud on the ground as well. A little bit of water leaking from the ceiling is kind of formed with some of the small dirt that's exposed here, and there's just muddied footprints off to the path to the left. And